morning, everyone. Just a short video about some bits and pieces I've picked up throughout my crypto life over the last 3-4 years, whatever it's been. No screen shares or anything today, just back to the initial kind of videos that I made, just the one-on-one personal speaking. So this video is aimed, I suppose, probably more so at newer people into crypto, but also I think there'll be some benefits that people can take away, maybe just as reminders for people that have been in crypto a little bit longer. I know I certainly, when I'm thinking about what I'm going to say, I certainly take things from it, so hopefully in that regard it's beneficial to other people as well. Shout out as well, I had a really lovely comment yesterday from a guy on YouTube, or a girl potentially, called Money One Retainer, just with some really positive feedback, just saying that keep doing the content because they're really getting something from it. So that's brilliant, and that's primarily the reason why I'm doing these videos, as it says in my bio, to help people on their journey. So yeah, really appreciate that. Thanks very much. And any more comments, or positive or negative, like I always say, are greatly received. Thanks very much. Okay, so what I'm going to assume is that you've got yourself some crypto, be that I talk a lot about TON on here, and TCAT in particular, so we'll just use that as an example. So I'm going to assume that you've bridged yourself some TON, or you've got some on a central exchange and you've got it into a TON wallet, any of the ones available, and you've bought yourself some TCAT, for example. And now what happens? So basically, how does it now feel? What's the journey look like? What's the emotions attached to the journey? So that's the sort of direction I want to speak in a little bit about that. So yeah, basically, if you look at any of the big cryptos, the big meme coins, your Pepe, your SHIB, your Dogecoin, any of those things, it's not overnight success. It looks, on the face of it, looking back now, when you look at the chart and you see the big spike, you think, oh, that's great, that it's run up and it's made a lot of people a lot of money, and they all have. That goes without saying, but it didn't happen overnight. And I think that can be the misconception sometimes when you see some of these stories on X and wherever, Facebook, little snippets in the newspapers, whatever it is, excuse me, where you see grabbing headlines like somebody put $50 into something and turned it into $2.5 million. They might well have done, but it would be super rare that that's over the course of a few weeks or a couple of months. It's generally a longer burner than that, but what you don't see is that period of time. So I firmly believe with the likes of TCAT, we're in that period of time, that period of accumulation, where basically nothing happens with the chart. It just stays the same, and that can frustrate people. That can have people get cold feet and think, oh, this isn't what I thought it was going to be, and sort of jump out. And how many sob stories do you see of people who were in something like SHIB and they sold early, and then they would have had astronomical amounts if they've just held it together and stayed in the game. So yeah, that's part of what I want to talk about. Nothing happens like overnight, and the reason I think some people might get, I've spoke about this before, I think, but I'll touch on it briefly. The reason I think some people might get a little bit jumpy about it is if they've over committed, put too much money in, and are expecting a pump, and it's not stalling, but just not happening. It's just a period of boringness, where nothing's happening to the chart. Things will be going on in the background, but that we don't necessarily see as investors. But the project will be getting stronger and developing in areas that they're not readily available in front of your eyes to see. So I think that's a big part of it. If you've put too much in, then you shouldn't, and we've spoken about this before in videos. It really is a case of only invest what you can afford to lose, and what you're comfortable with. And I get I get that's a bit of a flawed saying, isn't it, really? Because no one's comfortable with losing money, regardless of how much it is. Be it 100 or be it 1,000 or be it 100,000, whatever it is, no one's comfortable with that. But don't put money in that you need like next week, the week after. Your rent money, your food money, your money for your kids' schooling, or whatever it is. Just be sensible with it. And then, so what do? You've put your money in, you've got your bag of something on one of your wallets, first thing you should probably consider doing is get it off in a way to a cold storage wallet, a hardware wallet. I've spoke about that in previous videos. Have a look back and see those videos, because I bet your bottom dollar when the price starts going up and the value of your bag, your holdings go up, the thoughts of wallets getting hacked and stories like that coming out can really freak people out. It has me, and it's happened to me, and I've been scammed and all those things again in previous videos. And it's not worth the risk for the minimal amount of money it is to get yourself a hardware wallet set up. Get it set up in advance of this big massive run that's coming, because you don't want to be faffing around waiting for something coming through the post that you've ordered and worrying about your money. So if you do all that in advance and then get your money moved across, you haven't got any of them worries. So that's one thing that you can do. The other things you can do, crypto investing, it is an individual journey. It's how you want to play it, really. So you can just be a person that sits back, shuts the wallet, looks at it every week, every month, every 2 weeks, whatever you want to do. You can be somebody that's on the case, looking at it every couple of hours. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that for your mental health, because it's not ideal seeing the prices go particularly down. That can give you the wobbles and all the things we spoke about, and the concerns, the anxiety. Been through all that, woke up in the middle of the night checking wallets. It's not a good place to be, if we're honest. It's not a good place to be. People have got enough worry and stress in their general day-to-day life without, having that added on top. It just feels like another burden of pressure on top. It's certainly not something I recommend. You could be somebody that becomes active in the community. Join the voice chats that happen every day. Incidentally, who else does that? Nobody that I've ever seen has done 112 or 13 voice chats straight in a row. You could join the Ton Creators group on Telegram, and you could start making content. Ultimately, I started making this sort of content because of TCAT and TSE and my strength of feeling towards them, that I wanted to be involved and I wanted to do something to help, and to help other people and to help the project. So yeah, that can very well be an option. Or just get yourself on the Telegram chats. And when people are asking questions, you see lots of new people coming in all the time, and that's great for the project. Obviously, that's more new people coming in, getting involved. But you see the same questions coming out over and over again. How do I do this? How do I do that? And because you've likely been through it, then you can reply and help them people out. And it's just a nice thing to do, isn't it? And that is the underpinning of PPP, help your fellow investor. Again, liking it back to making these videos again, it's helping your fellow investor. So you can do that. You can be as much involved or as little involved as you want. You can do raids, you can do posts on X, you can do all the things that help the project. If you haven't got time and you just want to make your investment and then sort of leave it, again, it's everyone's individual choice how they want to do it. But what I would say is just remember that it's an emotional place at times, and your emotions can run away with themselves if you don't try and keep them in check and you don't recognise what's happening. So as the price maybe is coming down, which Murata spoke about as well, for people that get into cults, which TCAT is, that have had multiple ups and primarily downs, like minus 70% drops. That's not nice when you're watching your wallet drop 70% worth of value, I tell you that, and I'm sure everyone can relate to that. But it's a necessary part of the journey. It's just, if you just look at it, try and take a step back and think, it is just part of the trip that we're on. That happens. I remember seeing little tables about Shiba Inu, where like $1,000, it went to $1 at one point before it went to millions. So if you had $1,000 at the beginning, or whenever it was, when the time stamped, or when they made this little chart, it went everywhere in between. So it went down, steadily down, from 1,000 to 7, 8, 5, 300, maybe it's back to 9, whatever it was, up and down, up and down, up and down, down to $1, and then it went on a mega burst to flipping 4 million or something like that for this $1,000. And that's been charted through properly. It's not someone's just made the table up. So that's kind of what the landscape can look like, though. This is the thing. And it's about just trying to remain calm in those situations. Take a step back and just keep reminding yourself this is the process. This is how it happens. This is how it works. And ultimately, the people who can stand the course of the journey will be the people who come out on top in the end. And you could potentially be one of those headlines in the paper where you put $50 in and it turned to X at the end, a hell of a lot more. But not if you jump out, you won't. So it's just about trying to check your emotions. And at the end of the day, if you haven't put more in and you haven't over leveraged yourself and you haven't put more in than you're prepared to lose, caveat again, no one wants to lose anything, we get that. But if you're comfortable with what you've put in, then it shouldn't worry you as much, because again, that is part of the journey. I've got multiple different crypto pots of holdings of varying amounts, that sometimes I look at them and I think, oh, it's going down that. And like Casper, for example, at this moment in time, I've got a bag of Casper and it's gone from like 19 cents down to 12, I think it's at now. No rhyme or reason for it, nothing's happened. It's just what's happening, it's just how it's playing out. But again, if you look on the Reddits and the groups I'm in and Telegrams and all the places where you see people, like-minded people invested in Casper, you can see the wobbles. You can see the wobbles in people, and the questioning and the self-doubt and all of that sort of thing. And then you've got your people saying, no, it's absolutely fine. And it's opinion. It is a game of opinion as well, isn't it? You've got your people that are buying more. And then you've got your people that you can see are getting out and leaving because they can't stomach it. And that's fine. Different types of people have different ways of managing their emotions. Ultimately, I think the best way to do it is not to be over leveraged, so that you're not massively concerned either way, and you just sail through. And the people that can get to the end of the process will be the ones that will reap the rewards, in my opinion. Not financial advice, obviously, just letting everybody know how I feel about it and what I'm doing. Yeah, so that's kind of it. I just wanted to make it short and sweet. Just enjoy the process. The whole process, while it feels very turbulent and you can get anxious with it, and just try and remove all of that side of it and just try and relax and know that, and you look back on this in time to come, and see that it was part of the journey, part of a learning journey. And then when you go into your next project down the line, or you can apply to anything really, just think back and remember, I've been through this before, been here before. It is bumpy along the way, these things happen, but it's growing and it's developing, and it is just part of the game, part of the journey, part of the process. So that's it. I'll leave it here for now, guys. Thanks very much. Take care.